I mean, the thing about Vader, Vader is just like this awful force of nature. And when I was writing the actual comic, like I woke up in the morning and basically had excitedly run downstairs and I work out something else Darth Vader can do with his force powers to kill somebody else. And that's kind of what the job is. Like almost an issue of Darth Vader should have Darth Vader does something really cool, which I haven't seen before, and that isn't too powerful, but it's the right level. Every issue should have something where Darth Vader does something which is very Darth Vader-y. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's great that you've also got those dark comedy moments, admittedly, but comedy moments at all. You know, otherwise it would be I imagine quite a tough read.
Yeah, I mean, like, the reason why I invented the cast, you know, was because we wanted to do a Star Wars book. And if you do an Empire-centric story, it's not a Star Wars book. By definition, an Empire-centric story is just a bunch of fascists, and these aren't fun. You know, these people are, you know, there's this grey, it's literally the jackboot stomping forever. So to actually make Vader even work in something that felt like Star Wars, because stories about comedy and capital R romance and all that kind of stuff, you have to like change the context of Darth Vader a bit, which is why he's the underdog. We invent people who are worse than him. I mean, I'm not actually worse than him in terms of like power, but worse than him in terms of ethics. There's a Robert McKee kind of argument about The Godfather, in that why do you root for The Godfather? Because you have these other mafia bosses who are much worse. And like, if I was a mafia boss, I would be that mafia boss. In that the same way it's a bit like with Darth Vader. As in, like, you make people, different evil people around him, and Darth Vader at least has some form of honour. He's not like, Tag is just really boring. You know, Tag's a guy who runs off graphs, and he's killing just as many people. But there's no...
Great to see him in a comic though, I must admit.
There's no drama, you know, there's no drama to him, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But that's where the droids come from, and Afro comes from, and Black Chrysanthemum, in that I wanted, you know, one way to maintain the idea of making it feel Star Wars was just to simply invert the cast.
Yeah.
In other words, especially with Darth Vader, because he can't talk, you know, the more he talks, the less Darth Vader he is. So you're surrounded by people who can do the work of exposition, and you also find people who have that kind of group dynamic. Afra is kind of like, you know, Afra is kind of the Han Solo kind of aspect. She's more, but of course, and of course Luke is Vader, and Vader is Luke. So, you know, Vader takes the Luke role, Afra takes all the Han role, the droids play the role they do similarly. When Trios turns up in the fourth arc, she's kind of like inverted Leia, in that, you know. You know, she's saving her, you know? So there's a lot of those kind of mirroring aspects I do, because it's like, how can I make this feel like Star Wars whilst just changing everything?
And it does, and the thing is, you also added a bit of colour to the Empire as well. You know what I mean? I mean, it might be different shades of black, but nonetheless, you know, you create an Empire that isn't just boring. It's got a voice of its own, if you like.
We've invented this character, me and CICE, actually no, it was me and Kev Walker, invented this supporting character in Africa called Tolvan. And Tolvan we're basically running like just kind of the fugitive, but have you seen the movie Out of Sight? Out of Sight is basically criminal being chased by agents, and they sort of fell for each other.
Right.
So it's that.
I hate you.
As in that, and that's kind of what I wanted to do, but with like these two space lesbians. But Tolvan is like, she doesn't really care about the Empire. She's a career soldier.
Yeah.
You know, and like she has her lack of ethics is a problem, but the fact that you know she'd be if the rebellion took over the galaxy, she'd be looking to work for them. I'm just a careerist, and that's, you know what I mean. The Empire's big. Like most, you know, a lot of people just need a job, and unfortunately that doesn't make. Unfortunately, sometimes that's why. Okay, we loop back to Uber. You know, people get dragged into these enormous machineries and choosing to not look at the ethics of it is itself a sin, you know? You know, so there is like that.
Well, did any of the research that you did, so many years ago now for Uber, did that influence or colour your writing when you came to looking at the Empire, both in Darth Vader and in the ongoing Star Wars comic?
A bit, you know. I'm always trying to work out that I lean materialist means, I suppose it makes me an awkward fit occasionally in Star Wars, because I want things to make a lot more sense. And I mean like the best part, as in like Star Wars, especially A New Hope, is a fairy tale. That's the point.
Oh, of course,
And obviously,
classic hero's quest.
The more I look at like A New Hope, the more weird that sort of little angles work in it. You know, it's like we say it's a classic hero's quest, but you know, the hero doesn't turn up for 20 minutes. You know, that's weird. You know, and it's not about a materialist battle. conversely, the second you start, when I say materialist, it's like why is what I mean. What's actually going on? Why are they doing this thing? And like my current Star Wars run, I'm at least it's kind of like the inverted of the Darth Vader's run, because it's me looking at, a New Hope to Empire.
Yes.
And a New Hope, the rebellion should be on the up, because not only does they've blown up the Death Star, now the rest of the universe knows about the Death Star, and they know the Empire would do that, and they know the Empire hasn't got it anymore. So this is the last chance. This might be the last chance to do anything about the Empire. You imagine recruitment would be way up, and and of course at the start of Empire, oh no, they're trapped on one crappy planet, so things have gone badly wrong for it somewhere. So that's kind of where I got to. And also, what's their plan? We're rebelling, quote unquote. What actually is the plan of rebellion? So that's what I end up doing.
Right.
Like I made my run is explicitly here's what we're trying to do to bring down the Empire, and also here's what we're trying to do in case they do something like a Death Star ever again. So we're like we fluked it. A dude put a secret problem in the Death Star and eventually got it out, and we managed to get one guy getting a lucky shot. That's no way to run a railroad, So that's kind of where I come from, and that's where everything goes to. So that's the bit that kind of interlinks with Uber.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't really say it's influenced by Uber. It's just kind of how I think. As in, I quite like stuff making sense. That always sounds more aggressive than I mean it, but I'm like, okay, why is somebody doing something? And
there's got to be a logic, a beat to it, I suppose.
Yeah, and I get very annoyed. I get annoyed in movies. I don't want to name any names. They're not actually Star Wars movies, actually. But there's quite often I see people just doing this heroic sacrifice sort of structure, and very clearly, your hero's quest stuff. And it's like there's no reason they're actually doing this. You've just reached the point where somebody has to sacrifice themselves.
I'm with you.
This makes no, and that drives me that frustration.